Hello and welcome to today's episode of the GameDevBros podcast. I am Deep Raccoon, and like always, I'm joined by my brother and co-host Ben BB.
Yay! Here I am.
Hello, hello. So
Hello.
let's start like always for a little bit of news. If you
Yeah.
want, I don't know.
Yeah, I can start this.
Yeah, you can start. Sure.
Plenty of news on my side, right?
Yeah, I
So,
guess.
as you know, as we said last episode, now I'm working for Funcom in Portugal, and so I've been doing a lot of stuff. So now I moved out of the apartment that I had for only 1 month, and now I have my own flat, and I had to get the contract for water, electricity, internet, and all of that, which was a bit of a headache. But I have it, so now I'm kind of settled. Still have a few some paperwork to do and some things to tidy up, but
And you're missing a table
good.
as well, right?
That's one of the main things, right? Is that I don't have a proper table for the PC. The only one I have is a very small one that has planks that are separated.
That barely fits the computer, from what I remember, right?
Yeah, it barely fits the computer, but you cannot even use the mouse with it. And I mean, without the mouse, I use the mouse for everything. Like without the mouse, I cannot play. I cannot even program. Program maybe I could, but just like use Unity for example. Without the mouse is a pain.
It's a bit. Just work in general. It's just there's a few games maybe they might be able to play. Well, maybe with the controller.
So apart from calling people and doing this podcast and watching some series and stuff, I'm not using the PC for anything else, right? I'm just it's almost at TV now, so hopefully I can.
Which is fine, I guess.
Yeah, the funny thing is the table I want from IKEA, like the cheapest, nice table for PCs, is out of stock, of course. So I've been checking every day.
Yeah, you should still try to check like other stores. I don't know what kind of stores you find there, but you try to
I have to check.
Yeah.
And I mean, apart from that, well, I haven't been playing because I cannot play without a mouse. So, but I've been watching series. So I've watched Clarkson's Farm entirely.
Yeah.
We watched a little bit of the beginning
together. Yeah.
And today I got PlayStation 5. So like the company.
That's quite fun. Yeah, you can explain a bit how it works. That's actually quite cool.
Yeah, the company has a bunch of consoles and games, and you can rent them for free. Like it's not really a rent.
So you sign up for a list, and then you can.
And it's for 1 month. But I guess like if nobody wants it afterwards, you can prolong it. Yeah. But PlayStation 5 is one of the most wanted consoles, so I think I'm gonna just have it for 1 month. And the game I chose was Demon Souls.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, I believe, the precursor of
it is, it is
Dark Souls, right?
Basically,
I mean,
and
it would be my first Souls game, ever. My first game from Software. So we'll see.
I personally don't like them. A lot of people like them, and they kind of push me to try it, but I don't know. It's not my thing.
Yeah.
Gotta say.
It was a hard choice between this one and Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah.
But I chose this one. I don't know. It appealed a little bit more right now. But maybe it was a wrong choice. If I'm gonna end up dying every single time, then maybe I'm gonna get...
Well, I mean, the issue I have with the other Dark Souls, I think with Dark Souls, I played Dark Souls 2. I tried playing the first one, but it didn't work because it was too old, the game. And so then I started with Dark Souls 2, and then the problem that I found is that, first of all, it's extremely frustrating, to the point where sometimes you don't even have time to learn the patterns of the... First of all, it becomes a game where you have to learn. That's it. You have to just memorize the patterns of the different enemies, which personally I don't find that necessarily fun. And then the other thing is, outside of that, outside of the combat itself, the world seems super empty. And me coming from and liking other RPGs like the Elder Scrolls series and stuff like that. For me, it just seems like an empty world where the only objective is to keep pushing and try to get through the enemies. and I don't find that fun. That's basically it.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's worth to mention that the one I took is the remaster, it's not the very
Yeah,
old one.
yeah.
So at least it should look pretty good. See
Yeah,
how
yes. I saw
the
some videos
mechanics
and
play out.
it looked alright.
Yeah. So then, what about you?
Well, like from last episode, I am back home, so I've been a little bit more productive. Uh,
Yeah.
Outside of that, the New World, which is the game I'm playing today as well, came out, so I've been playing that quite a lot.
And you,
And
as of now, what do you think of it?
yeah, well, it's fun. It's fun. I like it. It's nice.
Yeah.
I don't
So
know.
many people are playing it.
Yeah. A lot of people are complaining that the quests are too simple and stuff. Uh, but I kind of like the way it is. So the way it is that you have very few quests, but a bit more meaningful, I'd say. And then what you have is you have like renewable quests that you can do all the time that just change constantly to improve your settlement and help your faction. And those can be very repetitive, but there's like a specific
Yeah.
things, bring a specific resource for the settlement or whatever, which to some extent makes
Yeah.
sense. And I haven't done too many of those, so it's fine. And I've been enjoying it. The combat is
Okay.
interesting. The
Nice.
missions, the world is interesting. I like it.
Have you found other bugs, or is it
No, it's
not
fine.
as buggy
Honestly,
as it?
no. I mean, the problem that everyone has been complaining as well is the queue times, but it's pretty much been fixed by
The
now.
servers?
Yeah. I mean, at first when
Yeah.
the game released, the queue times were like 2,000 people or more, and
Yeah.
it would just take ages. So now, what I used to do is I saw someone in the chat, in the global chat, say something about it. And what I started doing is using my phone with the Steam Link app to basically be downstairs working on stuff or doing other stuff and have the game on queue from my phone. And then whenever I saw that I was close to being in, I just went upstairs and started playing. But it would
Nice.
basically take ages. That was a problem. Even during work time,
Yeah.
because of the queue, I don't work, so I could play at any time. And even like I don't know, at 10 a.m. it was still full somehow. But now it seems to be
I mean,
fixed.
probably people from other regions might change region, um, to try to get servers maybe. So
I don't know. Yeah,
it is possible that you were not only competing with Europe people.
maybe I don't know. I mean, there's a very big limit, like a very small limit of characters that you can have. So, and you can't switch your characters from region to region so easily.
Okay,
So I don't think people would do that as much.
but you can create another one, right?
Yeah, but you only have two characters, I think. Or I'm not exactly sure, but it's very
Oh,
limited.
okay. So they don't want you to have like a bunch of characters like in WoW. And
Yeah, I mean it doesn't really make sense either because you can respec pretty easily, and
yeah,
basically you can. It's not like WoW where you have to choose two professions, for example, for crafting, right? And
yeah,
then you're locked with those. You can just do anything you want, and just you could just level up everything if you want to, all the weapons and everything. So
yeah.
and there's no
Okay.
classes either, so it really doesn't make sense to do. But anyways, yeah. And other than that, well, I started working in a project with some other guys that I can't really talk much about it, but I think it's kind of nice and exciting
Yeah,
to some
nice.
extent. And other than that, well, I've kept sending my curriculum to other different companies.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's basically it.
Yep. Yeah.
So I guess what are you going to play?
Sorry.
What are you going to play now?
Well, I mean, probably Demon Souls. I mean, I still have the Battlefield Gothic Armada unfinished. Although, yeah, a little side note on that game. I don't know if you're familiar with the Warhammer 40k 40,000 lore.
Yeah.
But obviously, you know that I am. Like, I read many of the
of
novels
course,
and
yeah.
I watched many of the animations and stuff. And one of the most defining things of that universe is a huge universe. One of the most defining things is that humanity is like totalitarian, xenophobic, is
Yeah, so it's
religious
not good.
zealots. Like it's humanity is not good, and they are brainwashed from childhood to hate everything that's different. All the aliens, of course, and the heretic and everything like that, right?
Yeah,
So that's like one of the main characteristics of that universe. And in the game, there's a point when you're kind of, let's say, losing against the dark forces of chaos.
yeah,
And yeah, since the beginning, you're also fighting against orcs and like space elves, which are different races, let's say, of alien races. And at some point, like there's an alien race, like an elf prince, like yeah, they're not called elves, they're Eldar, but yeah, let's call them
yeah, yeah.
elves. That's what they are.
It's-
And he's like, yeah, I mean, I'm getting attacked by, I don't remember if it was orcs or something like that. If you help me out, then we can like make a truce and focus our efforts on our common enemy, chaos, right?
Yeah,
And I'm like, okay, like that seems like a something that an Eldar prince could say, right? Because they are, yeah, they look everyone from above, but in dire situations, it
yeah,
seems
they might.
plausible that
Yeah,
they might try for a truce. But then so you have to choose. You can say yes or no, right? There's a dialogue,
yeah,
and so of course I said no because that's the most lore friendly, right?
yeah,
But what I hated was the fact that the dialogue that happened. So what the character says when you say no
yeah. He's kind of
is
like apologizing for
completely,
not being able.
yeah, he apologizes. That's like the worst thing he could do
Yeah,
because
yeah, yeah. So yeah,
like you have to keep in mind this man has been raised from childhood to believe that everyone that's not human, it's an abomination and must be purged, must be like exterminated until the very end, right? And now you have some guy like asking for a truce and asking for help, and instead of saying go fuck yourself, I will never, I should not even speak to you, I should not even answer you,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I should just like, I mean, the best thing would be he doesn't answer and he just like shoots a torpedo to him or something like that, right? That would be like the perfect answer, or at least like tell him that you're not
Yeah, at
gonna
least yeah.
even
That
talk to him. But he doesn't do that. He
he's not
starts
worth of.
apologizing.
Yeah,
Yeah, but he starts apologizing, saying, "Well, you have to understand, our forces are spread too thin. We cannot spare the
yeah, yeah,
the,
yeah.
the resources." It doesn't make sense. That's not something you tell to an enemy. That's something you say, and that's something to say to an ally that you can help, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
To an enemy, what you say, it's like go fuck yourself, and I, I'd rather kill you myself than let the orcs do it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
It doesn't make sense. So that I stopped playing after that because I was a bit pissed, and that was in the last apartment, and now I don't have a table, so I'm not playing anymore. So yeah,
Yeah,
that's that.
That's
Small, yeah.
small complaint.
Parentheses. Yeah, small complaint.
I mean, that was
If
one
you
of
are
the
a
things
developer of the game,
we talked about, right? When you said they were playing,
yeah,
how lore friendly the game was.
yeah. Actually, we're also when we're discussing about the IPs, right?
Oh yeah, well
We're
that was the
we're, we're
podcast
actually we're
that
actually
didn't came
talking.
out. Yeah,
We're actually talking about like non-game IPs. But in
yeah.
this case, yeah, yeah,
Oh, it's an
Warhammer
everything
40,000
IP
is
at
an
that
IP
point.
that, yeah, it's an everything IP at this point. There's already plenty of games, but yeah, they broke with the one of the core aspects of it. That's like,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, it really bothered me. I think I will actually write a review on Steam or something about this. Maybe before I do, I will still play like a few hours just to make sure they don't salvage the situation later in the plot.
Mhm.
But no, I don't think so. Just I'll give them the doubt, and I'll still play a little bit just to see. But yeah, I'm probably gonna write a review.
All right.
Well, that was my complaint moment.
Yes.
But yeah. So what are you gonna play?
I'll be playing New Worlds. I'll be just fishing and grinding some resources.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah, but yeah. And right now, so if the question was for right now while we are speaking,
yeah.
I'm not playing anything because like I'm not close. I don't have the PS5 installed already yet.
Yeah.
And at the same time, you could play something on my mobile, but it's really low on battery. So
Yeah, but
Well, now it's at 60%. Maybe I'll play some.
you can download Super Auto Pets.
S- I
It's
don't know.
a
I mean, I would probably
simple auto
just
battler,
play.
which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm not into that thing. I just have
It's quite
Warhammer
fun.
40k card game,
Yeah, yeah.
a bit similar to Hearthstone that sometimes I play, so I could play that as well. I know the kind of my deck by heart, so I don't need to think about it too much. Um. So yeah.
Yeah.
So up. Let's go on to the topic.
So yeah, so for the topic, so some of you might know I am a big fan of Star Citizen, and this
Yep.
weekend, so for once actually we are recording this the day before the release of the episode. So this weekend actually is going to be the CitizenCon, which didn't happen last year either because of COVID.
Coronavirus.
Yeah, so yeah, it's gonna be exciting. I am quite excited about it. It's
Is
still
it
gonna
gonna
be
be in person?
no, it's gonna be online still,
Okay.
but yeah, it's gonna be cool. So I thought we
Okay.
would dedicate this episode to talking about the project.
So it's a special episode.
Yeah, I guess to some extent, yeah. It's
Yeah.
an anticipation episode to CitizenCon.
Yeah. I mean, the quick disclaimer: I know a little bit about Star Citizen, but not
Well, you
nearly as
already
much as
know
my brother.
quite a lot since well,
So
you hear me talk about it.
yeah,
this episode.
that's it. That's it. Yeah, but it's not a topic I'm interested in. Like it's something that I might sometimes like just look for information on, but really rarely.
Yeah,
Most of the time I don't. So like I'm not up to date to what's
yeah. So you're
yeah
mostly like, let's say, a passive waiter, as in you're
yeah.
just waiting for the game passively, and then once it's good to play, you might jump in.
I might jump in. I mean the game sounds fun to jump in. The the problem is that it looks like a game that would require so many hours that I
Yeah,
don't
that
think I
is
have right now.
also like something that I think about.
That even if it would just be released today and it would be awesome, I'm still undecided if I would jump in right away. Maybe I would
Yeah,
be like, yeah, well, it's probably not the best time. I prefer to play like games that don't require so much involvement,
yeah.
and that's it. But yeah.
So yeah, well,
So
anyways, I guess we'll start with just explaining a little bit what the project is.
yeah,
Yeah, so for those of you who don't know, Star Citizen, it's a space simulation game, and the idea is just push it to the maximum and have as much in it as possible. So one of the big differences, for example, compared to Elite Dangerous, which is I guess the main one right now, is that Elite
yeah. I mean,
until
it's really different. I know it's not. Yeah, it's not
yeah,
that
not
different.
that
But
different. No,
I was confusing it with Eve Online. Sorry.
yeah,
No,
even
no,
Blind is completely different.
my
Yeah.
bad. Yeah, my
But
bad.
yeah, Elite Dangerous until now, until quite recently, you were a ship, so you wouldn't go outside of the ship. You wouldn't actually do anything outside of the ship, and there was no. Well, you were basically a ship, and you would do just runs with the ship. It was for me. It was mostly Elite Dangerous was kind of truck simulator in space
Yeah,
to some extent. And Star Citizen, one of the first things it did is that you're not the ship. You're a character. You're a person. With everything that goes with it. So you have FPS combat as well with weapons, melee, and
yeah. The
everything.
FPS, they're gonna make a standalone FPS as well. So the FPS is really
Yeah,
in
yeah.
depth,
Well, I
right?
mean
It's not just
yeah,
it's not really as not just a small mechanic. It's like a huge thing.
yeah, yeah. I mean, at the moment you have to some extent the world itself, the open world where you can just do trading, you can do bounty missions, you can mine, you
Yeah,
can do other stuff. But you also have like
a portion of the world, right?
you
You
have
don't
one
have everything.
system at the moment. They just released a new planet, the last planet. So now you have like a full system, which is still pretty big.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
with some ships, it might take hours to traverse from one side to the other. So
Yeah.
so
So
it is pretty big.
in a way, it's a truck simulator with many other stuff.
Well, the thing is, yeah, but you're not the ship, which is the big difference. You're actually the person, and
Yeah.
It's a truck simulator, maybe in the sense that maybe you have to get a resource somewhere, but then that resource or that package, you don't you don't dock with the ship with the station and just request a thing. You just have to actually get out of the ship, or someone else get out
Yeah.
of the ship. You have to take the resources and then you have to bring it to the ship. So he adds all of
It's
that
actually
thing. He adds like cool dialogue actually with the characters and so on.
so all those things will actually make the gameplay quite slow, right?
Yeah,
Because
of
first of
course.
all, you
Yeah,
have to travel. I think you have warp holes, or I don't know how they're
yeah,
called.
yeah. I don't remember exactly how
Faster
they
than
call it,
light
but yeah,
travel.
yeah.
You have some kind of a faster than light travel, but still, like it's not instant.
But that's still
Yeah,
a little bit like Elite Dangerous. So in Elite Dangerous, you have the
which is also a slow game.
yeah, 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 yeah. Of course, in Elite Dangerous, you have I guess the fast travel between systems, which is like to some extent almost instant, right? You have like a little animation, but to some kind of instant. And then you have like the kind of the warp mode in the system, which still allows you to kind of steer around. In
Yeah,
Star Citizen, you don't. In Star Citizen, like the faster than light travel is the maximum speed you can go, and that doesn't allow you. You just selected the location and it goes that way, and then you can get pulled out by interdictions and other stuff, which can also happen in Elite
yeah,
Dangerous. But yeah, so it does take quite a long time. It depends on the
yeah,
ship, and it depends how big the ship is, what kind of reactors you have, what kind of what kind of like faster than light drive you have, and so on.
yeah. You've played quite a lot of Elite Dangerous as well. So
Yeah, I've played both games quite a lot. It is quite fun. Anyways, it is a very beautiful game as well. If you want just for pictures, both of them actually, both games, Star Citizen even now, it's super beautiful. You do need a quite decently beefy computer, but it
yeah,
is very nice. So yes,
so yeah,
you said the thing that there is also like the FPS part of it. So at the
yeah,
present moment, you have like a kind of FPS mode, which is just simple, deathmatch of capture the point, fully FPS, which is well, I mean it's fun. I guess it's what you would expect.
yeah,
They keep adding stuff. So whenever stuff gets added to the game, things like for example, the down state. If you get your legs broken or whatever, if they add like a special down state to that, then your allies might be able to carry you and you heal you and so on. So they will keep adding those things into the FPS, but it is mostly just your standard team deathmatch kind of thing. And then they have the same with ships, so they have standard dogfights with PvP and PvE, where with swarms of other enemies. And if you just want to shoot stuff, then it's fun. And then that kind of brings it to one of the things I really like about Star Citizen, that they try to kind of make everything lore friendly and inside of that kind of universe. So those two modes, to some extent, are like training games inside of the lore of the game. So you're
yeah,
not just playing a separate mode. It is something that you could find references in the universe as well.
yeah. So yeah, and
Which is quite
something
nice.
that we should mention probably is that the scope of the game is humongous.
Yeah,
Like,
they
first
want
of
to
all,
add so much. Yeah,
yeah, it's a crowd-funded game, and I believe
yeah.
it's the
Oh yeah, yeah. By
most expensive
miles.
crowd-funded game, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
Only if
there's a
even
lot to
if you
talk
only
about.
count the money they made out of the
Yeah,
Kickstarter, is
yeah,
still the biggest Kickstarter that ever was and ever will be for
yeah,
a
and
while
then
probably.
there's
And then they still make
yeah,
money today, and it's a ton of it. They keep like which is one of the little like fears I have, because for now at the present moment you can buy ships by paying money, right? And I to some extent I've done it. So in the sense that to be able to play, you have uh, to be able to play, you have to buy the game, of course, and that comes with a very simple ship, with the most like basic ship. Back in the
the
day when
Aurora, right?
the Aurora, which is basically called the Brick as well, which is basically a brick and does not
Yeah,
fly well on in atmosphere because it doesn't have wings. So it is yeah.
yeah.
So anyways,
So
uh,
yeah. I mean, there's many things to talk about this game.
Yeah,
One
yeah,
of
yeah,
them is that it should be an MMO, right? But it's
yeah,
also a simulation game. Like as you said, there's avionics, so there's the
yeah. There
ship
is like
behaves differently depending on
if
the
it's in
atmosphere.
atmosphere, depending on
And
the
yeah,
weight of the the density of the atmosphere, it will be
yeah,
inside of atmosphere. Of course, it will be uh, like wind and so on will also have an effect on it
yeah.
and things like that.
Which is like um, by a developer's perspective,
Yeah,
which is like a very dangerous choice, right? Because having um, nice physics, like nice realistic physics,
yeah. They
makes
did.
it way harder, especially in multiplayer games.
Yeah.
Especially, and this is an MMO, so it's like
So they are not going for like full realism either. Like there's a lot of stuff that
yeah.
is not
I think
perfect.
no game really goes like full
And they already said that for many
realistic.
things, for gameplay purposes, they're not going to go for realism because it just doesn't make sense a lot of the time.
But still, the physics simulation is
Yeah,
much more than you would expect for an MMO game.
yeah. And now one of the things they did is they switch when they put on the first kind of like more realistic flight simulation inside of the game. They realized that it wasn't really playable, and then they kind of rolled
Okay.
back on it. I think and then now kind of they rolled back a little bit on it. So now it still has that kind of influence from on gravity, density and wind and so on. But now it's less so, and they add kind of the kind of excuse that they have. The ships have a lot of how do you call them, like placement thrusters. So it's not like the big thrusters, but they have a kind of like smaller. I think they call the VTOL thrusters, like the one that you would have right now, just to rotate the ship, for example, right? So like the smaller ones that you would put, for example, in Kerbal Space Program in order to rotate the rocket or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, Chaos Program is much more
Yeah, yeah.
realistic in
So
many
then
senses,
what
but
they do here is that they say, well, you have a bunch of them and they're quite powerful. So then you can still kind of stay in place for a decent consumption of energy. You can still stay in place, floating, right?
yeah,
But it depends, also, of course, in the ship. If it's a massive ship, then the ship itself might even have big thrusters pointing down in order to allow that. But yeah. So yeah, the other
yeah,
thing, the concern that I wanted to talk about is the fact that I wonder if they'll ever stop selling ships, right? Because right now it's a massive income that they're receiving from it.
yeah,
So I don't know if they'll ever really stop. And like I said, I did that as well. I bought the package for the game with the little ship, and then I upgraded the ship that I had for a slightly better ship. Basically, the problem that I had is that I bought the basic package with an Aurora, but like an Aurora specialized in exploration, which basically meant
yeah,
that all the extra space was dedicated to having a bed, basically a living area, and therefore most missions currently, like most missions, will demand having cargo space.
yeah.
So then I had none. Well,
And you
you could.
cannot modify the Aurora to have like remove the bed
I
and have
think
more
you might
cargo.
be able in. I think we might be able now. I'm not exactly sure. But they no, I'm not sure yet. But they will be able. You will be able to switch kind of those, especially because the Aurora has a kind of modular, so like the extra is kind of like a container that you have at the end, at the back, to some extent, and that
Yeah.
container is modular, so you can just switch it to something else. But you can't do it right now. And I just thought that
See, I mean,
might as well get a better ship as well.
what's amazing with this game is that in any topic that we touch on,
Yeah,
there are like a lot of depth into it. Like, so the ships are customizable, or will be customizable. I don't know
they're
in which
already
degree they are
customizable in
right
terms
now.
of the components. So obviously,
Yeah,
the ship, it's made out of different components. You have like the power source. You have the shield generator, the different weapons, the different. Now you have also condensers. You have a bunch of different shit, right? And all of those can be changed. right now, so you can upgrade them. So each ship will allow certain types and certain kind of not shape, but like sizes of those. But then there is different manufacturers will have different in-lore manufacturers, because everything that is made in the game, every weapon, everything has a manufacturer, which is a company, which has a logo, which has history, which is it's just crazy. It's amazing. And anyways, yeah. So
Yeah.
each of those components, even if it's the same component just made by a different company, will have slightly different like stats. It's kind of like if you talk about graphics card, right? You could say that our like a certain RTX is kind of similar to an AMD graphics card, but it's just they still not exactly the same. They have slight differences. Or for processors, for example, they tend to say that
Yeah.
for I know for rendering or like other stuff, maybe the Ryzen are better than the Intel, but for games, maybe Intel is slightly better. I'm not sure. I'm just saying this out of nowhere, but so it works kind of that way in the game as well. So it is quite interesting. It is quite cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
And which is
And,
the other
and
thing.
yeah,
Yeah. With that
there's
as well.
so many details.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Which is the thing, like with that as well, like now they started doing events. This year was, I think, the first year where each kind of event they have expositions, like expos, like sheep expos and other stuff. They are actually starting to do them inside of the world as well, which is kind of cool.
Okay.
And they start like you go to the area and they sell merch and so on. It's quite nice. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I want to go back to the sheer amount of detail, because like on the FPS side, also the weapons are customizable.
Yeah.
And there's also that thing with the gravity, right? Where the gravity can turn off and stuff like that, and then you start floating around.
Yeah.
It's not like your
ship,
regular FPS.
Yeah, exactly. Inside ships, inside ships or space station, they have gravity generators. Kind of like, I don't know. I assume Star Trek has that as well. But then, of course, you can destroy it or turn it off, and if you turn it off, then you float inside the ship, which is very nice. I don't think it's possible right now, though. Just clarifying. But there is, like right now in some FPS maps, they mix like the possibility of you actually going outside and outside the space station you're in and fight in 0G, which is quite cool.
Yeah. And so one thing that I want to touch on is the servers. But before talking about them, I mean, we could just say for now that they don't work that well, and that is blocking many of the mechanics to work properly. But one thing that really interested me is the mining mechanics, right? So what's funny about this story is that because the servers are not working properly, the dev teams could not really deploy the other mechanics they might have ready.
Yeah.
So they started to polish the mining, and the mining that works properly even without good servers is now like, it looks like a very polished and very kind of unique mining mechanic.
So yeah, if you watch actually the CitizenCon from, I think, I don't know, 4 years ago, that you have a roadmap of all of the things that were coming out. So you would have like basic mining, and then you would have basic salvaging, and then you would have basic whatever, and basic repairs, stuff like that. And by now you'll realize, actually, yeah, like you say, it's exactly true. Now there's just mining, right? Out of all of these things, the only thing you have is mining. And there's like multiple ships for mining. There is like different like mining accessories. There is like FPS mining. You can mine with like a little pistol, and say that is a problem. Like one of the main problems that the game has at the present moment is that the servers just cannot handle the game. They are working on that. They are working on like a special system that should be able to deal with it. But right now, the servers, they're basically running at like 3 FPS from what they're saying, or worse.
And with very very small amounts of people as well,
and very small amounts of
right?
people. Yeah,
Because what they're aiming for, I mean, they're aiming for servers with a lot of people. I mean, it's to say servers with a lot of people, it's a bit of a mislead, because in truth, what they're aiming for, it's a system that is called server merging, right? Or
server
dynamic server
meshing.
merging.
Yeah, it's a kind of like
Server
dynamic
meshing.
server system
Yeah, that
that
has
should be
never
able
been
to
done before.
yeah.
And if they actually make it, it's gonna be. I mean, everyone is gonna copy them. I'm 100% sure about that. If they manage to make it, like, it's gonna be the new standard, and
Well,
everyone
they
is gonna
should be
do that.
able. Yeah, and
But yeah,
on
so
the
just
note of
just for
the
you to understand
yeah
a little bit what was this about. So let's take a game like World of Warcraft, right? So each region, it's a server, and like when you imagine you are in Ungoro Crater, and you're farming there, and then you move to the next region. You
yeah
have
you have
a
like a loading
small
screen and stuff.
a loading screen, and then you've got in the new server with the other people. But there's no way you can see from one. I don't know if they have made strange things right now that you can, but normally you cannot interact directly with people in other regions because they are
Yeah,
in another server, and that is like separate thing.
I do
But
believe. I do believe.
what?
I mean, there is a global chat, and that the chat is global. But
Yeah, the chat is go. The chat probably runs in another server,
yeah, yeah. It's a separate,
in a
probably a
separate
separate.
thing. But like your character and your actions and the loot and everything, it's bound to the server.
Yeah,
And here, what they're trying to do is that, okay, now the servers are all connected to each other and they act as only one,
yeah,
and they divide the region, so the space, into areas that are managed by different servers,
yeah.
right?
And those
And
areas as
okay,
well are dynamic, so it's not gonna be
yeah, that's
this area
that
is always like this area.
yeah.
Like this area might
No,
become
but
bigger or
already
smaller
already
depending
that,
on the.
even without the dynamic
Yeah,
part,
yeah,
okay, it's already a lot, because it means that, imagine if you are just in the edge between two servers, like, it should be completely um the information should be exactly the same on
yeah.
both and at the same
So
time,
the thing
and
is,
that's
so the way that it's kind
already
of
a lot
going
of
to work
problems.
is it's gonna have kind of servers. I don't exactly understand how it works. They have videos explaining it, but my idea of it is that they're gonna have servers inside of servers kind of thing.
Okay.
And so the thing is, you will never be in like a separate thing. So you're inside a small area, so you have information of the things inside there. But at the same time, you're kind of inside a bigger box. So that's why you always kind of see and always see other things like outside of that.
Yeah, but you can interact with everything. At no point you have a loading screen,
Yeah, no,
and you
no.
can, even if you're at the edge, you can interact with people from the other edge, and that should be, so it has to be in real time, right? And
Yeah,
everything must look the same for both players, and that's a lot of synchronization that must be done, and it's not easy.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
not
yeah,
easy. And then I add to that the dynamic part of it, which is that not only, as you said, not only the space is divided on servers without loading screens, and with the option of being of interact with anyone in every space.
yeah,
Also, the servers, like, they are not always taking care of the same regional space. Like, it will dynamically change depending on the load. So, for example,
yeah.
if there's a region of a huge galaxy there's only like 10 players, maybe
Then
only one
the whole
server will take
system
care.
maybe is gonna be taken by
Yeah,
one
will
server.
take it. Yeah,
Otherwise,
and
they
on,
will
on
divide it.
another planet, yeah, maybe a planet has like 2,000 people, then maybe the planet is gonna be divided into four servers, right?
Yeah,
And that
that's exactly
changes.
it.
Yeah, if people disconnect from the planet, then instead of four servers, you have one, or not even disconnect, they just move with their ship to another place, and that should be dynamic and constantly moving to adapt to where the players are and where the
Yeah, yeah,
needs are. And that has never been done, and if they can do it, um, it would be amazing.
yeah, yeah. I mean, they are saying that they're getting close to having something releasable. They might even say something this CitizenCon. We'll see. That would be pretty nice.
Yeah, if they say something about that,
But yeah,
it's
so
gonna
they
be
might,
huge news.
and like on that note, they might have uh, to some extent loading screen between systems though. because the way that you have that you'll be able to travel between systems is you'll have to go some kind of wormholes. The cool thing about it compared to Elite Dangerous, for example, where it's just kind of an actual loading screen. There's no interactability at all. Here, there's like actually going to be a kind of like tube that you are actually traveling through, and that you have to navigate yourself, your ship, and you can actually have issues, so not manage to do it. I don't know exactly what happens if you don't manage, but you could get thrown outside of the tube, and you probably get damaged to the ship, and probably you'll end up super far away from the system or something.
Okay.
So that's also pretty cool. But they could still have some type of loading screen. So it's still not going to be a full-on loading screen, but it might be one of those like more sneaky loading screens that you might find in other games,
Yeah. Like the elevator loading screen.
Yeah, basically, yeah, the elevator type thing. Yeah.
I always, on a side note, I always wanted to make that for a game, like
the elevator
loading screen. I mean, it doesn't need to be
cool,
an elevator,
yeah,
but if it's well done,
yeah,
you might not notice. Like you go into a train, and the train suddenly goes into a tunnel, and then you go out of the tunnel, and the map has changed, right?
Someone else, yeah. And behind the scenes, you unloaded something.
So if it's well implemented, like well hidden, could be nice.
So it's not like Morrowind or Oblivion where the game suddenly stops and it says loading next chunk.
Yeah. Yes.
Which is always kind of funny.
Poor Morrowind. It's a nice game. Has many flaws, but
yeah. I mean, it's a good game. So yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what else you wanna discuss about. I mean, there's also there's the things that I know much less is about all the community stuff that's going on with the radio and stuff. I think you told me a little bit about it, but to be honest, I don't remember. And
I mean, there is like a radio. I don't know how active they are. They used to be super active, but the last times I tuned in, they only had music streaming. But they basically have a radio set up that you can watch on Twitch or straight up from their website. That is just like a 24/7 radio, and they used to have. I say they used to, but they might still have them. I'm not aware. Like shows where, well, I mean, a lot of the shows were about like the game, just talking about news and like kind of like more outside of the game world stuff, right? But some of the shows were kind of in lore stuff, and they would have a kind of show as if it was inside of the game, which is kind of cool. And there is some YouTuber I saw in the Reddit, in the subreddit. Apparently, there's some YouTuber that does quite often kind of news reports, but like inside of the game. So one of the things so they film their own character, and one of the things that Star Citizen has is that you can switch on your camera, and then the camera will pick up your expressions from your face. Will basically map your face to the character's face without anything extra. So you're just your basic webcam, you put it on, and it will work. It will maybe work better or worse based on lighting and other stuff, but it works. The point is, it works pretty well.
Yeah.
So then works. With that, they actually make kind of news posts about stuff like, for example, there's been a bug that's been going for like a while, which is that when you get to 30,000 credits, the game crashes like on you, and you lose that. So they had so they made maybe like a news report about that. Some people have been reporting hacks when they reach a certain point or whatever. They just have stupid things. And like one of the recent ones as well, it was kind of funny. So they announced that with the new patch they're going to release, they're going to just reset everything. Like, so all the money you made, all the ships you bought in game are going to be removed, basically. So you have to make them again. So you start from scratch basically again. they're making a fresh server. So then a lot of players started spending all of that money, right? You're gonna lose it anyway, so just might as well just spend everything. And so then the guy made a news report that's saying, oh yeah, apparently some people have information that we don't have because everyone's spending all their money. Maybe there's going to be a bank crash or something. And it's kind of funny, kind of well made. And it's nice.
So yeah, they're taking it very seriously. And
a lot of people are taking it very seriously, yeah. And one of the things about the radio as well is that they were requesting, the companies, the guys that are making Star Citizen, to potentially make it streamable inside of the game. As in, you go into your ship, you go into your cockpit, and then you turn on the radio in your ship, and you hear the actual radio that is happening. Which would be kind of cool. I mean, one of the things that they said was that they would like to have actually in-lore kind of news reports and stuff. That they would have people actually filming. I mean, they have so much money that they can just pay a team to do in-game lore report, news reports, because they could. And so then you go to a bar in-game and you see in the TV like live news reports about stuff. That would be pretty cool. Yeah. And all of those things, as crazy as it sounds, it is things that they are at least very hardly thinking about, and they would like to do it, at least, for the very least.
Yeah, we'll see how much they can do of all what they are promising. But yeah, at this point, I mean, a few years ago, because this game has been being developed for a long time,
for
right?
a long time, yeah. And maybe like
they were always
10 years now, I would say.
Yeah, they were always promising so much stuff. At the beginning, it really looked like it could be empty promises. Just
but yeah, the thing is, they don't stop believing in them in it themselves. It just takes time, but
I mean, it helps the fact that they have so much money that they don't need to.
So for me, if
they don't have the pressure.
But for me, if you want to answer the question is if this game is ever going to be finished, the answer is simple: is no. This game is never going to be finished. So if you consider that the game is finished when you have literally everything that they said they will ever do, then the answer is no. That's impossible. But the game will be very fun before, and extremely cool a lot earlier. Like I cannot give you an estimate, but I am actually thinking about.
I mean, when they fix the servers, right?
And I'll
maybe
give an estimate then.
Maybe even now, if they just fix the servers.
Yeah. A lot of things. Yeah, because one of the things with the servers that I wanted to say, I forgot, is that they incorporated what they call the barman AI. Which basically means that if you go to a bar, you can sit at any chair. A barman will come to you, ask you what you want. You can order whatever, and then he will go actually make it, to the appropriate location, get the appropriate bottles, make your drink, and then bring it back to you, right? But simple as that, which is very cool. Like most games don't do it that way. But the problem is it just doesn't work, and you can see that it tries, but it just doesn't work because it takes ages. So by the time that you request so by the time you sit, of course you are sending the notification to the AI, hey, someone sat there. By the time the actual AI is able to react to it and come to you, and actually then do everything, maybe the whole process might take 5 minutes just to get a drink, just because the server cannot handle it. And of course, because a lot of people see that it takes a while, they sit down, so they request the thing, but then they leave, and the whole thing just starts becoming even worse. So those are a lot of the things that, they're not just features that are not inside the game because of the servers. There's also features that are inside of the game but are just basically not playable because of the servers.
Yeah, and the physics as well. I don't know how it is today, but
I think the physics are fine.
Some time ago,
there is some issues, but most of the fixes are local, so I think most of that is fine. I think that it is due to the servers. Is, for example, the AIs, the NPCs being, for example, like on top of chairs, like standing on top of chairs and things like that. That apparently is due to the server as well. Apparently, when you log in into a first server, those things kind of work
Yeah.
correctly.
But yeah, they were with the physics. I was going to. I've seen some videos where there were people like driving one of the huge ships,
Yeah.
and then one had a buggy inside of the ship, and then like it would start to
Yeah,
to,
yeah,
to go really wrong.
yeah. That those things are starting to. I think those things are pretty much handled by now. I think you can do that pretty
Yeah,
consistently now. I think it's not a big problem anymore.
but at
It
some
used to
point
be
it
for sure
was
that trying to
even
get.
the EVA,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
even the EVA. If you were alone and the ship was like just
yeah,
not
yeah,
moving, but if somebody was driving the ship while you were trying to get in or get out on EVA, I mean, I saw some videos that were pretty funny
yeah,
and were
yeah. It
pretty
used
broke.
to be a challenge to get a vehicle inside of a ship, not necessarily because of size or anything, just because of the physics. Because suddenly you may go through like the ramp, or you just as soon as you
Yeah,
got in, it started twitching and destroying everything. Maybe it killed you, maybe it destroyed the ship. Yeah, that used to be a very big problem. I think by now it's a bit better for sure.
okay.
But yeah, yeah. I
Yeah, the
mean,
game is interesting
like you
for sure.
said, there's
Like,
so much that we could talk about because now that I
yeah,
mentioned the AI and the NPCs,
interesting.
they have this
Yeah,
system, this kind of like agent simulation that they're gonna slowly start rolling on, throwing onto the game as well, just to
yeah,
handle
you have
like
to,
the NPC's
economics
behavior
and
and so
stuff,
on.
right?
Yeah, we'll handle economics, and we'll handle everything basically.
Like, yeah,
And there's like I
like
think
commerce.
an hour long, or almost maybe an hour and a half long video of one guy explaining the system. It's
Yeah,
basically an agent simulation. Like in and of itself, that could be like a research paper. Like one of the things, yeah, that's like a small anecdote, I guess. During my masters, it was quite. My masters was quite research focused, and one of
hmm.
the subject we had was colloquium. Was called colloquium, and the idea was simply that each day, uh, two or three students had to present a paper of their choice, and sometimes it was interesting, sometimes it wasn't interesting. Uh, but that the idea in itself, I kind of agreed with it. I think they forced us to watch too many presentations, but other than that, I think the idea is it was fun. It was nice because you could kind of choose which
Yep.
presentations you wanted to go to. And for that
Yeah, that's nice.
presentation, I checked if Star Citizen released any research papers because I do believe that many of the things they're making, including, for example, that server meshing thing that we talked about, could
Yeah,
be in and
that's
of
for
itself a
sure.
research paper. They could just make a research paper out of it, and
I mean, if they don't make it, it's maybe because they don't want people to know how it works. But
on one side, yeah,
for
they don't
sure,
want people to work,
for
and on the other side, they just work in and of itself to make a research paper as well. So it's not just making the project itself. You also have to make the paper, the
yeah,
presentation brief. It's and they just don't bother basically, but they definitely have. And I remember checking if they
yeah.
did any,
I mean, if they make it,
if they
I'm
had
pretty
any
sure they'll make
research
a
paper.
paper. They'll make a paper out of it, or
Yeah,
maybe even several, because
but
probably
like
like,
already the thing about the camera,
yeah,
that is something that I could be published. I don't know. I think that there is other papers on the subject, so I'm not sure how new it was back when they released it, but I'm pretty sure it was like up there. It was quite
yeah,
innovative at the
yeah, yeah.
time already. Like the crazy thing
But I
was that
think
it works with
it's one
any
of those
camera.
things. Yeah, I think it's one of those things where maybe right now you don't want to release a research paper because one, it's more work. Two, the people can look at it and
Yeah,
copy it.
yeah. But
I
I
mean,
do
not copy it,
remember.
but implement a similar thing.
Yeah,
So maybe, but they could release it like in a few years,
yeah,
where
yeah. Of
when
course.
it's
I do
not.
remember someone
Yeah,
asking a question, a similar question, which is uh, that uh, if they feared that someone else would copy them because of how much information they give about the development and what they're doing, right? Because well, every month, every week you have a video explaining what they're doing, different mechanics, different stuff, and they go quite deep
yeah,
into how it works. So I think they remember they asked that do you fear that all the companies might copy what you're doing? And I think the answer was simply just it's such a big project that no one's gonna be doing it. That like for most people, like they have like lots of money and they have a big community, but starting a big project like this is just for most.
I mean, they
most of the time
could
not
copy like parts of it,
Yeah. I mean, I do believe
like a
Elite
base game
Dangerous.
on that
Elite Dangerous is
is
probably
copying parts.
keeping an eye on what Star Citizen is doing, and I think that's one of the reasons they released recently the expansion where you can actually walk outside of your ship.
Yeah, but maybe,
Yeah.
but the thing is, probably but people might copy. Like, let's say they do the camera thing, and now another game does it as well.
Yeah.
But they cannot compete with them because the market they are aiming for, it's people that want a very huge experience, and
Yeah.
for that you need so much money that nobody will be able to.
Yeah, exactly. There's
First,
no
money and
company
time
that
as well. Money,
could be
because
able to afford it.
yeah, but even if you can afford it, let's say you have the money, but yeah, you have to start now. You already have 10 years of delay compared to them. So even if you will like take less time for some things because you don't need to do the research, it will still be so much man hours required that you would just arrive too late.
Yeah.
Unless something really strange happens and for some reason the Star Citizen gets really delayed or is cancelled, and then maybe you can take the opportunity and copy stuff and release your thing, but
Yeah.
seems unlikely.
But yeah, it is quite a game, quite a project.
Yeah,
And it's kind of crazy that how long like it's been there.
it is, and it's a good thing that they take their time. Like, more companies should do that.
Yeah.
The other
Definitely.
company that I can think of that takes a lot of time is the one you love, the Turkish one. How is it called already?
Warhorse Studios.
Yeah, they make the
They made the Kingdom Come Deliverance, you mean?
No, I wasn't thinking about that one, but yeah, that one as well.
Then which one?
I mean, the game you control armies and control.
Like Mountain Blade. Those are Turkish.
Yeah, Mountain Blade. Yeah, I said Turkish.
You said Turkish? Oh, never mind. Yeah. Those guys.
So those ones also are taking like a lot of time. I mean, they don't have the same resources, of course.
Yeah,
but,
I think that a big part of it was they also don't have much resources. But yeah.
Yeah, but I guess the game when it launches is pretty good, right?
Yeah, I mean now Bannerlord they released it as an early access game,
Okay.
and even that took like a lot longer than they said it would.
Okay, so you think it's not like
No, I think
they're
I
really
think
struggling?
there were
You think
also
they're struggling?
rumors. There were rumors with that they were struggling financially
Okay, yeah.
because
Well, never mind.
like they did a demo that you can find videos of, like for
Yeah.
people like 2 years before they even released the beta, and apparently back then it seemed playable at least. So I think
Okay.
like maybe a few things were missing. I just took ages for them to do it. But I don't know. Of course, all of that is rumors, and we don't.
I mean, maybe they had to refactor a lot of stuff as well.
Yeah, maybe.
Those things happen.
But yeah, it is a good game too.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if there's anything else, or we can wrap it up.
Yeah, I don't know.
Um,
I guess I don't know if. Well, I just wanted to mention, I guess, what I'm expecting from this CitizenCon. Quickly.
yeah.
I guess one of the main things I'm expecting is some reveal from the single player campaign. Because the single player campaign was supposed to release last year, basically. I think early this year or like late last year. But then they said it was delayed, and they never really updated the roadmap or anything. So we don't really know anything about it. They made a new roadmap, and I don't think it mentions the Maybe I'm wrong, but not sure if they mentioned the single player campaign. So I believe they're probably going to say something now about it. I quickly check on it. Yeah, exactly. So back in the day, in the roadmap, you had the roadmap for the multiplayer, the online, and then you had the roadmap for the single player, and now the single player doesn't exist, and they just haven't said anything in ages about it.
It's a bit suspicious.
And yeah, it was supposed to release the beta of it was supposed to release a year ago. So well, there is rumors about it as well, because I don't know if you know, but they had a lawsuit with CryEngine.
Yeah.
And
told me about
apparently, so the lawsuit is at a hold at the moment for a while, and apparently it's because the lawsuit is specifically targeting the single player campaign. So the lawsuit about CryEngine, so the Star Citizen started working with CryEngine, and then they passed on to Lumberyard, which it's basically a branch of CryEngine that was bought by Amazon. And then apparently CryEngine complained that they are still using CryEngine, and they were still using stuff from Crying that they were not supposed to in the single player campaign. So apparently there's rumors that say that the lawsuit is on hold because they're waiting for the single player to release so that they can actually, I guess, compare and check whether or not those claims are true. So there might be something there as well where they don't want to release the single player campaign, or they're making sure that there's nothing that they can be blamed on. I don't know, those again are rumors, but it might kind of works out with the fact that we don't really know any information about it.
Yeah, we'll see.
Checks out, but we'll have to see.
Hopefully
I don't think
something.
CryEngine is going to win, though. Apparently CryEngine is having also some financial problems, so maybe they're just trying to find a way to get money. But anyways,
they probably have like a legitimate claim, right?
Yeah. I mean, there's also the issue that a lot of the workers from CryEngine moved to work for Star Citizen, probably as engine programmers, and there is some kind of
so yeah, but yeah,
how
if they haven't,
there is some potential lawsuits about that as well.
If they haven't,
you have something in the contract as well, right?
Yeah,
you're not allowed to work for a straight up competitor for a certain time after you leave, right?
For 6 months, I think it is. Yeah.
So there might be an issue there as well, where people left and straight away started working for, to some extent, a competitor.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah. We'll see what happens. But again, the things that are written in the contract, sometimes they are not entirely legal. What I mean is that sometimes they're not backed by the law, because it also depends on which country you are, and the country law takes precedence.
I mean, CryEngine is German, so in that sense, I would expect good laws. For the protection of the worker, because maybe in the US is a bit more fucked up, but in Germany I would expect better laws.
I don't know.
I don't know where the lawsuit is happening, because it might be happening in American.
It's a lawyer's work, and it's probably quite complicated. Yeah,
it's probably very
quite complicated. It's because even if in your contract it says one thing, if the country says another, then if there's multiple countries involved, because CryEngine is in Germany, and the Robert Industries it's called, right?
It's Cloud Imperium Games or Robert. Robert Space Industries.
And they are in UK, right? So they're based in UK, I think.
It is mainly American.
US?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So
they have a studio
which law applies? It's complicated, because which law applies? Does German law apply?
Yeah.
Does US law apply? So it's those things. I cannot give you an answer, because It's
yeah,
not
of course.
part of my skills. So
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah. So that's why those are like rumors that you
goes
have to
along.
take with a grain of salt, because obviously we don't know
Yeah,
anything about it. So
yeah. But they're probably being cautious as well if they are in a lawsuit.
yeah,
Okay. Well, it was nice talking to you,
yeah, same,
and
of course.
we'll see what news we get from Star
Are
Citizen,
you
and
gonna watch it,
hopefully.
by the way?
When is it? Like what
It's
time?
Saturday, from I think 4 p.m. to midnight, basically.
Tomorrow you said. So yeah, it's really long.
It's
I
Saturday,
might tune in
Saturday.
at some point. Saturday.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, I might. I've got still many things to do, and I've got the PlayStation 5 with the new game, so
yeah. I
maybe
mean, I
that will
have
take
all the
precedence.
plan. I have all the plan for that day. I'm gonna buy some
Yeah.
ribs. I'm gonna make some nice, like marinated ribs, and I'm gonna
Yeah.
sit
Nice.
down, chill,
And
watch the
enjoy.
thing on the TV.
Yeah.
It's gonna
Nice.
be very nice.
Well, I mean,
So
in
yeah.
any ways, you're probably gonna tell me what's
Oh yeah, yeah,
what
for sure.
the highlights at least. So
The important stuff.
maybe you're gonna even make a video, right? So
Well, yeah, I have 2 videos planned about Star Citizen,
yeah.
which is, yeah, I was thinking about releasing it like earlier, but I thought it was made more sense to release it after CitizenCon. So my
Okay.
ideas for the videos is, one, I'll just kind of show you what a normal session of the game kind of looks like. It's a bit.
Yeah.
It depends, of course, on what type of missions you do, but like the most common missions, at least for now, it's uh, like outside of you preparing for like mining or other stuff. It's just like, a pickup mission, right? Then of course you can also do bounty missions and other stuff, but I'll probably just take a pickup mission as the baseline kind of thing. And then the
Yeah.
other video I
Okay.
want to make, it's just I want to go through the roadmap, kind of look a little bit at what's there, what the game has already, and I want to give you an estimate of when I think the game will be
Worth
fun to
it. Yeah.
play. When the game is like at a point where it will be already worth getting into it, I think.
Yep.
Because of course right now I think the
That
biggest
sounds
issue is
nice.
the server, but there's a lot of other things, and I'll look into having more than just trading and mining and bounty hunting, right?
Yeah.
Potentially
Yeah, but
having
don't spoil the
other
video if
stuff.
you're gonna make a whole video about
Well,
it.
I
You
haven't I
just
haven't
wait for
done the research
that.
yet, so I can't really spoil too much. That's what the video is going to be
Okay.
about, and we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. So obviously, because CitizenCon, they also tend to do the typical thing as like, oh, you look at this, you can do this now, and actually, we're gonna release it today, so that might change things. So it's better to wait after the CitizenCon.
Yeah. Makes sense.
We'll see. But yeah, I tend to really like CitizenCon because they have many panels. Like they have obviously the main show at the beginning when they just say when updates, they might show interesting stuff, new features, cool stuff, and that's usually cool. But then they also have panels where, for example, they talk about lore, about the different races and so on, and that tends to be super interesting as well. There is so much lore, by the way. They're also creating languages inside of the game, so you know, if you're
I think
into,
it is already being overdone. Like since Tolkien did it, now everybody's like, yeah, let's create a language. For
yeah, I mean, but
example,
it's cool though.
I don't feel that the languages in Elder Scrolls bring too much to the table. Like, yeah, we've made the dragon language for Skyrim. It's
Yeah,
like,
but they're
I
not
mean, they're
deep enough
I
in the
mean, as
sense
far
that
as I'm concerned, yeah, they're not
they're
deep
not
enough.
deep
It's
enough
just
in the
there
sense that you
for
can't actually
market.
speak them, but they are making those languages speakable. So it is a
Yeah,
bit
I don't
different. They
know.
are going the
I feel
step
like
further, I think.
Tolkien did it, and it was great. But nowadays, like depending of your game, it doesn't make that much sense to create a language.
Yeah,
I don't know.
but I think
It's just
they are
just
doing
my
it
thought on it.
properly, and it is going to be like proper languages and stuff. It's gonna be nice. But anyways, even like lore about the different races and then stuff, and how the story about the different races is quite interesting.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, maybe we can make a whole other podcast about it because this one is getting a bit long, right? And I've
Yeah, I
got
don't know
stuff to
how
do.
long we've been, but yeah. So yeah, we've
So
been an hour and 10 minutes. I
yeah,
definitely need a new, especially now because
alarm.
I've set it in a different. Yeah, I mean I guess, but I've set up and now I'm working with OBS,
Yeah,
and basically OBS kind of shows you what you are recording at the same time that you're recording it. So like right now I am my screen I'm seeing OBS, but you are still seeing the game, uh, which is kind of nice. But then that kind of requires me to well have a second screen so I can do it properly, so I can actually play at the same time. I
yeah,
really need a second screen. Anyways, that's like a
yeah.
parenthesis.
I'm gonna get two screens as well when I get my new computer.
Yeah,
And my
definitely
the
worth it.
first I need a table for it.
Yeah, yeah, very important. So yeah, anyways, that was it, I guess. So have you played
Yeah.
something in the end?
Yeah, I played a bit on the card game. It's called Legions,
Yeah,
I think. The Warhammer 40k card game on mobile. I think it's on desktop as well. I'm not sure, but
maybe,
I
maybe.
played it on mobile. Yeah, it's fun. Fun. I mean, yeah. I think I still prefer the Elder Scrolls one, but
Yeah, I mean
yeah, it's fun.
The Elder Scrolls Legends is pretty cool.
Yeah,
I do like it as well. But yeah, anyways, well I've been
well,
fishing most of the time, and I
yeah,
have a mission where I have to get medium salmons, and in all
yeah.
this time I only got three, which is not much. I got a bunch of other stuff, but not salmons. So anyways, I have to keep fishing. So yeah, well, I guess that's it, right?
But yeah, enjoy your
So
New Worlds experience and
yeah, well, thanks for listening,
stuff.
and well, see you next time.
Bye.
Bye bye.